Our next guest wrote, produced, and directed the festival's closing night film entitled Cha-Cha Real Smooth. Please welcome Cooper Raiff to the South by Southwest studio.
Thank you so much.
Welcome, sir. Congratulations on all the success. You were actually here, well, virtually 2 years ago.
Yes.
Your first movie,
Yes.
Shithouse. It won the Audience Award. Your movie that we're going to talk about, Cha-Cha Real, won another award at Sundance, but unfortunately that was virtual.
Yes.
And so you are actually going to see Cha-Cha Real with an audience
Yes.
for the first time. It's like
Very
the first time.
Yes.
Right.
We had like a family and friends screening, but it was like not that many people. But this is the first time that the finished movie will be in front of people. And that's what movies are all about, so I'm really excited.
And also, you are Texan native, so you're coming
Yes.
back home.
Coming back home, yeah. I'm from Dallas,
Yeah.
yes.
It's okay. It's a safe space for Dallas.
Yes.
It's a safe space. Houston got attacked unfairly recently, but it's okay.
Yes.
So, but the fact that you're here at South by, which in part, I mean, helped launch your career, how does it feel just to be back, to actually be here in person at this moment?
It feels so great, and I feel so thankful that they let us show the movie here. So it feels like a nice bookend to the crazy pandemic.
You know, Cha-Cha Real Smooth got rave reviews at Sundance. It got acquired by Apple Plus for some nice money. You did well. You made it all back. You can breathe and relax. Great reviews. But I want to go to the origin story. I like superhero origin stories.
Yes.
You're a young man. You're in college. You're writing plays, and you decide.
Yes.
And you decide, you know what? Let me try getting my hand into movies.
Yes.
And just tell me how that started and how it led to you then just tweeting, just casually tweeting filmmaker Jay Duplass.
Yeah, well, I did write plays, yes. In high school, I liked to write, but I wasn't, and I loved movies, but I never was writing a script for a movie. But I got to college, I wanted to act. I was really interested in acting.
Yeah.
And then went on I got an agent actually, went on some auditions, realized it's a very bleak, hard process.
While you were in college?
While I was in college,
Okay.
my freshman year of college. And then I was like, okay, I want to write. I'm just gonna focus on writing. I wrote this thing, sent it to every agent that I could get the email of, and never heard anything back. So at some point,
Which is the normal process?
Normal process. And then at a certain point, I was like, I have to go ahead and make something. And that's what the Duplass brothers always talk about is the cavalry is not coming.
DIY.
Yes, do it yourself. And so I made this movie that was very long and very bad, but I put it on YouTube, and then I tweeted the YouTube link to Jay Duplass and said, I bet you won't click on this link, and then email me.
Oh,
after.
you dared him. Well
I
done,
dared
sir.
him.
Well
And
done.
then
That's psychological jujitsu. Well done.
Exactly. And so he emailed me literally less than 24 hours
That
later
is
that
dope.
he won the bet.
Oh, and what did he say? So he saw the movie, which wasn't that long. It was 50.
He was
50 minutes.
Yeah, well, yes, right.
Not too bad. But
for a short. I think he was expecting to go into a short film, yeah.
he's like, that would be 5, bro. But
Yeah.
but it's amazing that he responded. He saw it. What did he say to you?
He said, there's something here. He wasn't like, this is so great, but
He kept it real, but it was encouraging.
Yes, he was interested in meeting with me. So we got lunch, and then we just became really close friends, and then eventually we had the idea to make it into something bigger. And then that's when I made my first movie, and that's what got into South by Southwest in 2020.
And that was Shithouse.
That was Shithouse.
And
yes.
Shithouse, it's that first movie, and people said, like what Jay said, he goes, there's something here with this guy. But it gives you now a ramp. You can now,
Yes.
you can okay, I got the award, I made the movie, I proved myself. Let me now try my hand at Cha-Cha Real Smooth. And you said acting. I like how things come full circle.
Yes.
Because you actually weren't going to act in this movie.
I wasn't, no. Yes, I was not.
You wrote it, you directed it, and you can flex with some nepotism now, but you're like, nah, I'll give it to someone else. But your co-star Dakota Johnson convinced you. What did she see in you that said, you should be the lead in this?
Well, I think I had pitched someone for it, and she was like, okay. And I think what she was interested in when she watched Shithouse and she liked it, and I think she was interested in working with someone who was very close to all the things. And when we got on set, there's some scenes in the movie that I wasn't acting in, I was just directing, and she actually said to me that she thinks I'm a better director when I'm in the scenes. And it did hurt my feelings.
Were you like, that's cold-blooded, Dakota.
But she was just saying it, and she said this at the beginning when we were talking about me being in it. She thinks the reason why she wanted to work with me as a director was how close I was to the material and how close I felt to like each actor, I think. And so, and really, she felt like a director on the movie too. Like the way we worked together was always, how do we feel? Is this working? How can we make this better? Like, she's not just someone who wants to dive into her character and not think about the story. She was a producer and like very much cared about.
So I got your origin story. We've got up to the point where you've got the money for Cha-Cha Real Smooth. You're directing, you're writing it, you got Dakota Johnson, you're acting. What's the movie about?
The movie is about a 22-year-old who doesn't have a lot going on. He moved back to New Jersey. He's staying at his stepfather's home, and he's staying in his little brother's room on a blow-up air mattress. And he's really good at starting other people's parties. And so one night he goes to his little brother's bar mitzvah, or his friend's bar mitzvah, and he drinks a little, gets the party started, and in the parking lot, these mothers swarm him and are like, "We want you to be the designated party starter for these bar mitzvahs of the grade." And so what entails is he's this party starter for these 12 and 13-year-old kids, and then he gets involved with a family along the way.
And without giving too much, and the family is an older woman.
Yes.
Relatively, Dakota Johnson is not much older.
Right.
An older woman with a kid.
Ancient woman,
yeah. And she develops. It's older woman relative to your character, Dakota
Yes.
Johnson, and she has a daughter. And the daughter is a young teenage girl, and she also has autism. And what was the decision to make that character, especially a young girl with autism?
The movie started out, the kernel of the idea was I really wanted to make a movie that was a bit of a love letter to parents of disabled kids. And a lot changed, and we got a 22-year-old main character, but my sister's disabled and my family, our life has been very defined by her stages. So I really wanted to make a movie about my sister, but my sister would not be a great actor. So I wanted to find a character that could say the same things, and something that I knew a little bit about. Like, she goes to school with quite a few autistic kids, and I felt like that would be a nice launching pad. So I wasn't like I'm setting out to make a movie about an autistic kid or a parent of an autistic kid, but that's kind of
it flowed from your life.
Yeah,
it flowed, and it shows. It's very organic. It's not like special interest movie. She's a character who happens to also be autistic, and also happens to be the daughter of this lead character, whom your character, I think, it's not necessarily a spoiler alert, develops you could say
a May-December relationship.
An infatuation, or he's smitten by her. Let's just say.
Yes.
When your sister saw this movie. And it's important for representation, especially actors from that community say oftentimes, they don't get it right. When she saw it, did she say, "All right, you did well in this"?
Well, that's what I was saying. So my sister does not walk or talk. But I think she loved it. She does not like movies very much. So she gets impatient sitting down for that long. But
did your family say?
My family loved it very much.
Okay.
Yes, and I think she loved it. She gets excited when she sees me on screen, and then about 5 minutes later, she's like, "All right, what do we?"
This is enough of my brother. I'm done.
I've seen him a lot.
I've seen him a lot.
I get it. Yeah.
How much of the movie? Because so much you said, of yourself is in the process, and Dakota said, "I wanted you to be my partner, not just a director, writer, but also as an actor." How much of your story is in this story?
A lot of the feelings are very true to my life and where I've been, but I mean, there's not a domino in my life. I didn't steal. I never really steal things that happen in my life. It's more of just what's the feeling and what's something that I want to say and how best to say it with certain plot lines.
Is it okay? Is this a safe space to admit that when you were a young kid, if you had a crush on a much older
so that actually is ripped off. So when I was a 12-year-old,
because your character when he's young in this movie,
yes, is obsessed with this party starter, and that is very true. That's a very specific. Really, that actually is. You caught me. That is pulled straight from my life. There was a party starter who I felt like I had a big fat crush on, and then I saw her crying on the phone, and I was like, for some reason, all of a sudden, it felt like the crush turned into pure love, and I was in love with this older woman. And I don't think my character, I don't think me at the time, I wasn't like, I think she's in love with me too. That was in the movie. But yeah, I was obsessed with the party starters.
Was that, and this is just me, I'm sitting there thinking about how you're reflecting on this, but when you're sitting down to write a second movie, there's immense pressure, especially when you're like, the first one hits. Everyone's looking at you. All right, step up, show me what you got. And now you're like, you know what? I have this memory of having this infatuation. This will, and being a part, this will make a great second feature.
Yeah.
Like it's a bold decision to go here creatively. What made you decide to take the leap with your second feature, with this story?
I didn't feel the pressure really. I think
good for you. Good
yeah,
for you.
Maybe it was just because it was all.
Because you're so good. You should say.
No. I didn't feel the pressure because I think it was with Shithouse. All of that experience happened in my room with like pajamas and socks on, so I didn't feel like people were looking at me, and I didn't feel that pressure. But the second movie, I wanted to make something that felt like it had the same sensibilities of Shithouse because I loved making that movie and I loved the final product of that movie. So I didn't want to all of a sudden make a horror film. But yeah, I think it's shares a lot of sensibilities with Shithouse.
It's naturalistic. I mean, a compliment. Yeah, my crew saw is like it's naturalistic. It seems very real, almost improvised.
Yeah.
And how much? I mean, that's a compliment that written dialogue feels improvised. Was it improvised? Was it in the moment, or were you very intentional with the script and what finally went into the form?
It wasn't improvised. I would say I'm intentional, but I always tell the actors to always rewrite lines as they're saying them because I never want them to say something that feels bad out of their mouth. But yeah, there were amazing actors in this movie, like Brad Garrett, Leslie Mann, everyone. But those two, it's hard not to say like, do you guys want to improv a little bit because they're so funny. And so they improv quite a bit, and Dakota too. But Dakota and I we developed the project so much together, so we knew the scenes so well. So there wasn't a lot of, we didn't have much time to like say, let's do a one take where we are making funny faces the whole time.
How long did it take to film it?
I think like 21 days.
Wow, that's fast.
It's fast.
3 weeks. And did you film it during the pandemic, or were you able to be lucky just do it right before?
No, it was during the pandemic. It was like at a time where the restrictions weren't that crazy, and COVID didn't cost as much money as like it did probably 3 months prior to when we made it. But we were all had our masks on, and it felt like we were making a pandemic movie for sure.
And people might hear, 21 days, but for those who don't know a film schedule, that's tight.
It's tight.
That's like an independent movie schedule.
Yes, it was very much so.
Yeah, so there's like little room for improvising and making mistakes.
Right, exactly.
You need to get in, you need a trusted crew, everyone has to collaborate together, but it doesn't show, I mean, and that's a compliment, it doesn't show rushed, it shows that it's very intentional, naturalistic, leisurely, and it just flows really well. And I have to talk about the party starter. I didn't know this existed until I saw an interview with Tiffany Haddish. And the comedian Tiffany Haddish, she was saying, you know how I got started? And we're like, she's like, party starter at bar mitzvahs. I'm like, and everyone's like, what? And he goes, this is a thing.
Yeah.
And once they saw that I was really good at it, he goes, and she just starts throwing down. She goes, I know these prayers, I know these moves.
Yes.
How did you do research on the party starter scene when it comes to bar mitzvahs and bar mitzvahs?
I remembered it so well. In 7th grade, I went to a bar mitzvah every single weekend, and it was, and there were in 7th grade such visceral memories from that time. So I think I don't know, I knew it well. I guess I did I didn't do much research at all. Like I kind of interpreted it how I did, because I think there's not a set like this is who a party starter is, and because party starters I knew were actually like 40 years old sometimes, and.
This is in the movie that we should say the party starter is a 22-year-old again.
Yes.
He's a young man trying to figure out his life.
Right.
And he's just good at it, and he's like, all right, well, might as well do this. I'm living at home.
Yes.
But you also, your character also, let's give yourself some prof. You have some moves.
Have some moves.
And was that where you're like, are these the moves from 7th grade that you were secretly hoping, I will show off these moves?
No, I mean, there are moves that I secretly, as a 24-year-old, was like, I want to show off these moves. No, but the movie really was, I wanted to make a movie about someone who was really good at starting other people's parties at this time in your life where you're supposed to start your own
He's
party.
unable to start his own life.
Yeah, and so that's the nugget. I haven't always been obsessed with party starters. I'm like, I have to make a movie about party starters. But yeah, I do love them and I admire them.
It's when you watch it, and we think about it, it's we're in the 21st century. I'm going to date myself, but it's like The Graduate.
Yes.
Graduate at that time. Similarly, young man returns from college, lost, stays at home,
Yes.
has an affair with an older woman, Mrs. Robinson.
Right.
Unlike your character, isn't as productive, not party starting,
Right.
not getting paid, just lounging, sleeping in the pool. Was there an intentional callback to the movie and an influence when it came to shaping this narrative?
There wasn't, but the plot sounds very similar.
Yeah.
So I think there was.
No, not too. You go off on your own unique direction.
But we definitely talked about The Graduate all the time, and like when we first pitched the movie to the producers, we did say it was like, oh, you got to know The Graduate, and they're like, yeah.
You got to do the Hollywood pitch.
Yes.
If you don't mind me, because Hollywood's a wild place.
It's a wild place.
When people are like, what's the pitch? What was the one-line pitch for Cha-Cha Real Stuff?
It was.
Cha-Cha Real Smooth, sorry.
It was two people helping each other get strong for different stages in their life. That was like my pitch for it. And I think
that's a very cerebral pitch, my friend.
it is, yeah. It's not like the elevator pitch. So I think, and then we would say like, no, it's The Graduate meets.
Super bad.
Yes.
But with bar mitzvah dancing.
And lots of 13-year-olds. Yeah. But that was the pitch that really, our producers are so amazing, and they really loved the movie. And I think that the idea of two people helping each other, and like there's almost this really heartbreaking thing where if they could only switch places. Like I think Andrew would be really great as a 32-year-old settled down with a kid, and Domino's character I think would love to have those 20s to herself, but that's life.
And it's also, without giving too much away, it's realistic in that in a Hollywood movie, there is a Hollywood ending. And in this movie, it stays true to where they are at their lives.
Yes, that's true, yes.
And did you ever feel compelled that, I'm going to stick it through to the end and deny the audience what they're so used to, which is perhaps the cookie cutter stuff?
I think I don't know. I think I thought that this is what the audience might want. But I've heard that people are like, oh, I wish it would have gone this way. But I think if you really, on your drive home from watching it, I think you're like, I'm glad it ended.
Yeah, when you get to the car, you're like, it sits well with me, like a good meal.
Right.
I'll have to ask you about this. Look, South by Southwest, Sundance, there's a tradition. I interviewed Richard Linklater. We're talking about the DIY, Slacker, right? Your story. There's something people are just really proud about, that independent spirit. Then came the big movie studios, but now we have streaming giants.
Yes.
Which is revolutionizing the entire industry. For you, and for especially young independent filmmakers, how do you feel about the fact that things are now streaming? Your movie, again, got picked up by a streaming channel,
yes.
Apple. Is this a benefit for you guys? Does it help?
Yes. Like, I've loved working with Apple so much, and
Apple TV Plus, I must say.
Yes.
Apple TV Plus, I got you, Apple TV.
Yes, sorry, Apple TV Plus. I've really enjoyed my experience so much, and I feel so grateful that people are gonna watch a movie that I made, and it's been, and they've just taken such good care of it, and I know that like they will continue to take such great care of the movie, and it's nice to have a home, whether it be a streaming service, whatever. It's nice to have people care about your movie.
And also, when it comes to these streaming services, Netflix, Amazon, Hulu, yes, we've heard the conversation, the debate, the purists put it on cinema or see it with your smartphone, but it seems to have given an opportunity for young filmmakers, especially filmmakers of color and women, an opportunity they would never have had otherwise.
I really feel that way. Like, I really feel so lucky. Like, the last thing I'd ever be is like, streaming services. It's like it's creating so many opportunities, and they're looking out for so many different people and taking care of so many amazing movies by so many different people.
You, sir, have arrived. You're going supernova, according to my producer Jenny Dubin.
Thank you, Jenny.
She's right there. You'll see her. She's the boss with the hat. A filmmaker that was perhaps in your shoes 2-3 years ago that you feel the world needs to pay attention to right now. Can you look at the camera and give a shout out to that filmmaker?
Oh my gosh.
Or two.
Wait, say it again. They were in my position?
Yeah, like 2 years ago, they were right there at the cusp, and you feel like, you know what? The world needs to pay attention to this young filmmaker. They're about to blow up, and they should blow up in a big way.
God. Emma Seligman. She made this movie called Shiva Baby that premiered at South by the same year that Shithouse premiered. That's the person. Emma, love you, Emma. You're great. You're gonna blow up.
And Emma, if you're listening, you can Venmo him.
And you don't have to.
And what's your next feature? What are you working on right now?
I'm working on a hockey movie. It's a movie about hockey. It's set in Danbury, Connecticut. It's called The Trashers.
And when is it coming out?
Oh, I don't know. We haven't started shooting it yet, so who knows? Who knows if it'll ever come out?
It'll come out. It'll come out. Good luck, sir. Congratulations on all the success. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. The movie's premiering. Cha-Cha Real Smooth premieres tonight at 7:30 p.m. at the Paramount Theater. You do not want to miss it, Austin. Come by and check it out. You can watch all of our studio interviews on the South by Southwest TV app, available on Apple TV, Roku, Android TV, and Amazon Fire. These interviews are also available on our YouTube channel at youtube.com/SXSW. And for a complete list of our interview schedule, check out sxsw.com/studio. I'm Wajahat Ali, and thanks for watching.